but vaginal dryness, loss of libido, painful sex, it's something that I was not quite aware of. Hey friend, welcome back to the series, to the marriage series. I'm doing the 30-day 30 video challenge with other friends on YouTube. I will list their name here. So today the topic, it goes beyond marriage, but definitely affect long-term marriage, because usually menopause, what is the subject today, is how it affects our marriages. And we know that menopause comes around 50 really, where a lot of women would be starting, their menopause journey, but the perimenopause starts way before and has its own challenges that I would like to discuss here with you, and how it happens for me, and how it affected my marriage, and how I find small ways to limit the damages. Yes, menopause affects women. However, it also affects our husbands, and leave us. In my marriage, it left us both feeling lost. We have to do a lot of learning. I didn't even understand what I was going through. I didn't know it had anything to do with perimenopause. I just thought I was depressed and just unhappy, sad all the time, and cranky and moody, and just was not interested in the thing that I used to be. And the biggest one, and I shared it before, for me was social anxiety, but like fear of leaving my house. That petrified me. I remember a time when I went to Gabon, and I stayed 3 days in the house. I was trying to go out. I was standing on the front of the door crying. I just couldn't go. Yeah, it was like a force was keeping me there. For 3 days, I couldn't leave. And the day I left, I had to take so much courage, and I was so afraid while walking outside. I don't know, it's like something would have happened to me. I was so worried. I'm no medical doctor or nurse. We have a lot of nurses on here. I actually shared one of the videos of my friend Nicole, who is a nurse and who shared a lot about how menopause can affect, but she was talking about weight loss. If you check on her channel, she shared a lot more about that as well. These hormonal changes can and will create a lot of emotional changes. All women don't go through the same symptoms. Some have some symptoms, some have a few, some have none. Lucky them. But it can create things like those that we know the most is hot flashes, night sweat. I had all of that. Vaginal dryness, we don't talk a lot about that, but that can definitely affect the couple, because it affects sex that become painful. And also there's a drop in libido for a lot of us, me included. Guys, I'm very open and transparent, so I'm sorry if I'm giving you a bit of TMI, but that's me. I'd rather tell you the truth of what's happening. I don't know what the sun is doing right now. It's actually behind me now. So I'd rather tell you exactly what's happening, so and I don't want to paint you a rose picture. Usually that's what I do on my channel. I'd rather give it to you as it is, and not trying to make some beautiful ribbon around it, package it nicely, because menopause and perimenopause for a lot of us is rough. It's not something to take lightly. And when you are not aware, because often women, I'm talking for myself, my mom never spoke about it. The women in my family never ever spoke about it. And maybe that's an African thing, I have no idea, okay? I don't want to generalize. Maybe others, tell me please if it's different for you. But in my own family, I never heard about menopause. So, but then with television, people around, etc., society, knew about hot flashes. Definitely, that's the one that is the most spoken. But vaginal dryness, loss of libido, painful sex, it's something that I was not quite aware of. So when it happens to me, just felt that I did not understand what was happening, and my husband didn't understand what was happening. So he thought maybe that I had an issue with him, but that had nothing to do with him. I was just lost in my own head. I was lost in translation of wherever my body was at that time, still is. And of course, all of that lead to a reduction into the physical intimacy, and also can disconnect us from our partners and from ourselves even, right? Because I felt completely disconnected. I didn't recognize that woman in the mirror. I did not reconnect. And the trois, I did not recognize that woman that was so erratic, where the mood were changing all the time, and the deep sadness I could see. I don't know, whatever publicity, and I would cry on the silliest, simplest things for no reason. And I had to learn. I had to then, thanks to YouTube University, because there's a lot of women out there, doctors, etc., explaining it. I had to go and learn for myself first before I could even try to explain to my husband what was happening, because he was lost as well. He didn't know what to do with me and how to even connect or help. So we were both confused. Yeah, so he left us completely disconnected. We didn't know what was happening. So this is why it is extremely important that we discuss it between us. And so we can make aware most people, so you're not feeling completely lost, disoriented, or you think that there's something wrong with you, when it's only your hormones that are playing up. Menopause is not just about hot flashes. It's also about how we feel. You know, as I said earlier, there's a sense of not being in touch with ourselves anymore. There's a lot of frustration. There's also, for some women, I've seen that with one of my sisters who wanted to have children, but came to an age where she was menopaused and could not have children anymore. There's also that warning of the end of our reproductive years. So it's not to be taken lightly. Some of us might feel less desirable. We are feeling obsolete from some of us. So this will definitely affect our relationships, because when we have less confidence, feeling less attractive, it definitely impact our relationship with our partner, with our husband, or for the women who are single or divorced or widows, etc. It might be difficult to go back out there because we're not feeling ourselves. I actually would love to interview somebody about that. So if you are on that last category, if you are single, widow, divorce, and you are back into the dating pool, how is it for you? Let me know. I'd like to have a conversation with you. And let's not forget our husbands. They may feel completely puzzled. They may feel rejected. They don't understand what's happening. And this is why communication and educating ourselves is extremely important during that time. So we actually understand what's happening. And I did that. I've learned a lot. I've watched countless videos on YouTube to understand what was happening with the women. And I did a video where many women came with advice, because the thing is, I never wanted to take HRT, so the hormone replacement. To this day, I'm still running away from it. And so I had to deal with the effect of perimenopause on my own because I didn't want to take any medication. I had a lot of women answering to me and saying how they felt also that was very similar to what I was describing, and how, taking hormone replacement helped. I mean, women came really and helped me out with advice, with their experiences. So that's what I'm trying to give back here with that video. I had to educate myself and my husband. I started first to educate myself, as I was saying earlier. And once I understood what was happening to me, I also spoke to my doctor. I then went to educate my husband. So I sent him videos of men who was dealing with this and male doctors explaining what was happening to women and how they can support women. And he helped us understand how menopause was affecting our marriage, and made us understand that it was nothing to do with a lack of love, lack of attraction, but more so the hormonal changes were the cause of what was happening to us, and that released us and removed a lot of pressure. I have an amazing husband. He was not pressuring me at all for anything. He let me be. Listen to all the videos that I sent, and feedback to me that he understood now, because he actually told me that he didn't understand what was happening, and I didn't understand what was happening either, so I couldn't really help then. But once we educate ourselves, Lord, it removes so much pressure. And guys, there's so much resources online. There's a lot of resources online. You can learn everything that you want to learn about menopause. There's books, there's so many resources that you can use. And you can even find a video that you like and then watch it as a couple. So that will help to open the discussion on the subject, right? And so both of you to be free to share really how they're feeling and how together you can come to some solutions on, during that period. That it's a period. I know it can go up to 10 years, guys, the perimenopause, apparently from 7 to 10 years. Guys, don't take my word for it. Search for yourself. As I've read it in many different places. So it can take a toll unless we address it. For me, when I was in Africa, I tried some, I've been advised on some natural remedies that I'm trying. Is with herbs, plant, etc. So far, I don't know if it's doing anything, but it's a bit early. I will let you know once I've used it for at least 3 months, because you need time to really have an impact. During that period where sex is difficult, where intimacy is difficult, it doesn't mean that, physical connection cannot happen. There's other ways. And I think that's where, for me, that's where affections plays a big role, and other things that it's a PG channel that I cannot talk about here. But, affection, touch is very important, spending time together, holding hand. You guys know how all of this happens, so I'm not going to give you a list here. But just to say, there's other way to be physically connected with your partner, even if sex is not an option at this time. Yeah, so there's so many ways. Cuddling together, massage, I love massage. There's so many ways, guys, where you can recreate, even be inspired in finding different ways to stay physically connected with each other, right? Because after so many years, we're kind of boring on the way things happen. There's a lot of habits there. So that's a way to be creative and find new ways to. That's the time also to really connect more deeply, to create small habits, having the coffee in the morning together, where you connect with each other, share your thoughts, your dreams, your whatever. Those little things that add up and become, that makes your marriage stronger, better, more enjoyable. Communication, right? That's why communication is even more important. Let your husband know how you feel. He cannot guess it. How you feel physically, emotionally. If you're feeling discomfort during, whatever happening there, communicate that with him, and vice versa. Ask him to open up about how he's feeling about the situation and how you can find ways, lubricant. And there's so many ways, right? Talk to your doctor. Communication. It's okay to talk about sex. There's nothing wrong with it. So talk about what makes you comfortable, uncomfortable, etc. Patience and empathy is key. Patience, definitely, because you have to be patient. You have to be patient during that time. It's a time that can take a while to settle. So you have to find ways to navigate through this time together. And that can even create a lot of growth within your marriage. When you bond together, I was going to say against perimenopause or menopause, and navigate these hormonal changes. And even men, we'll talk about that as well, the midlife crisis for the men and for the women. So there's a lot that a couple go through that you have to navigate. And when you come outside of all of this, your marriage is just stronger when you manage to come together as one and, navigate these challenges as a team. So ladies, remember, this is just a phase. The menopause, perimenopause is just a phase, a long one, but it is a phase that will pass, and our marriages can thrive through perimenopause and menopause if we take the time to do all the above of communication, educating ourselves, sharing, finding new creative way to connect with each other emotionally, physically, being vulnerable. So talking about what's happening in our body and not keeping it for ourselves and feeling like we're becoming crazy. It's very important to share with your other half. I hope this video can bring some beginning of, I don't know, something can be comforting for you. Please, if you have more tips, add them in the comments, share, open that conversation, and just know that you're not alone. We're all growing through it, and be well.